Howdy drivers, this is What's Going On the Trailer Happy Garage style. We just got at an auction site. I can almost guarantee there's some things we're grabbing here that you've never seen before. So stay tuned, let's go take a look. So we've gotten started here on finding all of our items. That's kind of the way this stuff works, is you show up, you find the person in charge, and then they'll usually walk you around to show you where all of your stuff is, or some version of that. Here's the real prize. We got another one of those big gray cabinets like the one that we have at the shop. They also tend to come with contents, and that's where we really lucked out. I didn't realize it, but this is the belt for the Varispeed head on our Bridgeport mill. So we've got a good spare belt. This will be super handy to have around. There's usually going to be some stuff that's of no use because, you know, like empty boxes. And who knows what this tooling was for. Here's a few, looks like boring bars. Some random tooling here. Square wrenches. We may be able to use some of this on the do-all. And then whatever's down here. Some brooch parts and pieces. This is a giant brooch bit, and this is what the brooch would slide through. Some kind of pulley or a wheel. But this will be fun to dig through once we get to the house. This is more the brooch size that I'm used to. So there's probably some useful stuff in here. Big thing is the cabinet. Oh, here's some lathe dogs. These are pretty big. All right, I'm gonna do some loading. There's some interesting stuff in here, other than the giant drill bits that I won't be able to use. Here's a center, probably a larger taper than anything I have, but that'd be good in a tailstock of a lathe. There's those lathe dogs we found. And then a chuck. This is probably a Morse Taper 3, I'm guessing. It probably says somewhere on here. I hope that's the case, because I believe that is the size on the TCM 25, the seat and valve guide machine. So this may be just what we were looking for. This alone, if this is what we want and it's good, would have been the price I paid for the whole thing. And then with some elbow grease and a little bit of leg work, I could probably offload a lot of this other stuff to recoup some of my costs today. When you're a hobbyist like us, you have to find any way you can to fund your hobby. Here's one way. It's hot today, if you can't tell. I've loaded what I can, and I'm waiting for the loading bay to be open, and then we'll be able to proceed. But while we're waiting, let's take a look at some of the other things that went in this auction. I was watching this cast iron table knowing that it would get out of my price range, but look at this thing. I mean, it's got some wear on it, but that is cool. No telling how much it weighs. If I recall correctly, this one went for $1,000, and then there's a total of about 25% of fees and taxes on top of that. I bid on one of these. It was the 8-inch one. Like it was a 6-inch wide, but 8.8 inches long. Not that. That's the D75, which is kind of the normal one. This is it, the D688. And somebody wanted it more than me, and that's just how it goes. Having a little discipline is how I've survived a lot of these auctions. Also had my eye on this one, but it's kind of a run-of-the-mill, and if I'm going to do industrial stuff, I want to do industrial stuff. So I let that one go. I think it went for 100 and something. Took a peek at this, but I don't really need those angle brackets, so I'll let that one go too. Here's some material handling equipment, and I was shocked at how high all of this went, especially for the immense size of it. This would not be terribly useful to me. I don't think I have anything that requires stuff that heavy. Now some of these, the smaller forged eye hooks there, those can be useful for the machines I have. We passed on the hardware bins, but you see stuff like that at these auctions too. All of this went in the auction, so we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars. I didn't see the bridge crane go, but sometimes bridge cranes will be included. Good luck disassembling it. Here's our metal pallet that I'm gonna have to modify to make it usable. That's kind of a bummer, but no problem. We'll cut out some holes for the front wheels on the pallet truck underneath. And that'll be nice to have around. Kind of a neat scissor lift. I passed on these cabinets. This is the run-of-the-mill flimsy metal cabinet you get at Walmart or whatever, and I don't really need that. I need the heavy stuff. Yeah, even this one's a little flimsy for what we intend to put into it. Here's a cylindrical grinder. Here's a massive optical comparator. We have a tiny version of one of these. This thing is huge. Some giant lathes went in this auction, just to give you a sense on how big these guys are. Big stuff. Look at that, 3 steady rests on this one, this web lathe. Another cabinet with some lathe tooling in it. So again, whoever bought the cabinet would have bought the contents, and in a lot of cases, like this one, probably bought it for the contents. Here's a hone. This is an old Sonnen hone. It has a cast iron base, and this gray color is somewhat of a giveaway. This didn't go for much. I think it was less than $200 with the cabinet and some more hones. I guess that's a tool bit grinder, maybe for drill bits. But yeah, I had to let that one go. Well, I think we're all set on our hone. Pretty serious steel table here. That's 1/4-inch plate and structural steel construction. Giant surface plate, went for not much. I was bidding on one of these tables. It was either this one or the one just like it, I think. And it just got out of my range. Be a really good fabrication table. I thought it was 1/4-inch, but that looks more like 3/8. Serious table. The good news in losing that auction is I don't have to haul it or find a place for it. I was bidding on this one too. Sometimes you can get them for around $100, and that's kind of my price. But this one went over 200, so I let them have it. This monster is a radial arm drill, and they are amazing. They'll drill a hole through anything. They always come, or almost always come, with a pretty hefty T-slot table. Of course, this arm rotates over this way. Super heavy base on most of them. You gotta check, but super heavy base so that you can do this. Just think about all the weight that's over here, right? So you check on that to make sure it's not gonna tip over. Having that said, this guy will bore through anything. Looks like he's got a little damage on a hand wheel. And they're auto feed. These things will slide themselves over. You can imagine, you know, again, how much weight that is on there. And of course, it'll do the drilling. Would love to have one of these, but you can see it doesn't even fit in the frame. This is my cell phone today. Don't really have space for something like this, but there's something super cool about walking among these giant machines. I've got a few minutes, so let's just do some more of that. So here's the message in all of this. You don't have to settle. It takes space. That's the caveat to all of this, is you have to come up with some kind of space where you can keep this stuff in good shape. Because, you know, humidity kills it and all of that. But if you can manage that, a little bit of space for your shop, you can get way better stuff than you'll ever find at the box stores of just about any kind. Like, this is the box store that I like. You just have to do some legwork. You have to be a proactive buyer. You have to be willing to load all your own stuff and not get treated like you're some kind of princess. Not that these aren't super nice people, but you have to hold up your end of the bargain, because that's kind of what you're offering to the auctioneer, is a motivated buyer. And yes, you can even find a good mill in one of these auctions. It doesn't have to be a Bridgeport either. These are respectable mills, the ones you've probably never heard of. And it comes with a Mitutoyo DRO. That's an easy buy if you're looking for a vertical mill. Again, the space, and you know, even the three-phase thing, not a big deal. If you've got 240, maybe a 30 amp, 240 volt circuit that you can put in, and then a 5 horsepower rotary converter, you can power the average Bridgeport. They're only 2 horsepower at their biggest size. So it doesn't seem like it for a lot of us, but it truly is within reach. Both of these have DROs. I'm looking forward to finding one of those for our Bridgeport. Okay, it looks like the loading bay might be open for us. We need to load this, some more taper shank drills that will work. This is a Morse Taper 2, I believe. So that'll work in our regular drill press. And then some Morse Taper 3 stuff that'll work in the guide and, or the seat and valve guide cutter. And then some stuff that we'll probably find a new home for. Bunch of reamers in here. Just couldn't pass up the grab bag of reamers. We've done all the loading we can do and goofing around and all that stuff, but now we got to get the trailer in there. I'm just going to go ahead and back it all the way into the building. And we're going to roll on the cabinet and the big heavy metal pallet and load some other stuff by hand. Kind of a tight squeeze, so I'm just going to make sure we're clear. This is actually our stuff. We'll get it out of the way. Okay, I think we're going to be in good shape. If it's too steep back here, I can always bring the tongue up a little bit to lower the rear of the trailer. Yes, sir. I just decided I can't do it.
You know what that is, Francis?
It's a riser for a vise. Yeah, I bought the vise and this came with it. I'm going to get on one side.
Let me see.
Okay. It's heavy now.
Got a French made.
Good job, man. Thank you.
The cutters will come off.
I think we're ready to go down the road. We're going to go just a little bit and then stop and take a peek, as we always do. We have a strap across our prized pallet. Everything else I think is going to do just fine back here. That beast is going nowhere. It was nice of that guy to help me out with it, because I could not lift it. I left my water in the truck and it's warm, of course, so right away we're gonna get ourselves something cold to drink. Go down the road. Well, scratch that. Just as I was pulling out, we got a little bit of wind and there's some rain coming, so nothing I can do about this. However, there's stuff in here. I don't want this to collect water, so I'm going to move this to the truck. never fails. I blame myself. I brought all of this rain up from Florida. We've gone a few miles and want to check the straps. I'm seeing something I do not like. The back is raised up just a little bit, which means it's doing one of these. That's the danger of just going over the top of something really tall like this, is that it doesn't stop the bottom from slipping out underneath all of that tension. So I'm gonna grab something to drink and then maybe engineer this a little bit. Okay, it's a little bit piecemeal, but I think the physics are good. This strap is the big one, and it goes around the front of the legs. It's not going to slip underneath because it's going across the top of the pallet jack and lands back there. And I have a smaller one, just kind of using what I have, going from this leg to there. And the same thing on the other side. I think we're gonna be okay. Let's give it a shot. This trip was supposed to be done by rush hour. Guess what we're headed into? One rush hour later and we've made it back home, safe and sound. And I think I'm just gonna leave this out here for tonight. We'll unload tomorrow. I'd like to clean it up a little bit, make a base for it, paint the base, put some wheels on it, and then we'll have one more rolling cabinet, which I hope is the last one that we're gonna need for our shop. There is one more thing that got lost in the shuffle of when we were actually at the auction. Let me get it out of the truck. This is possibly the coolest thing that we got today. This is a Herrig Grindall. It's a pretty common little device where you can chuck something in it and then manually turn it, for most of them, to do kind of manual cylindrical grinding and probably a bunch of stuff that I don't know about yet. However, this one is cool because it came with the Moto Grind attachment. So it's got its own little rubber belt there and a ball door motor. That's good stuff. Where it'll spin itself. So what we can do with this is cylindrical grinding on a small scale using a regular surface grinder. I think there'll be some situations where that's just a whole lot easier to set up than what might be the case with a universal grinder. We have the Brown & Sharp number 13 and the Herrig step tool grinder. Both of those can be used in that way, in which case we wouldn't need this. But there might be some short things like making core drilling bits for drilling out the valve guides. This would be a pretty handy way to do that, it seems. So kind of neat. Happy to find this thing, and thankfully there wasn't a lot of people watching it. So we got it at a good price. Hey there, Wally Cat. How you doing, buddy? I mowed the lawn yesterday, and it usually takes about a day for me to be able to see Wally again. He's reappeared, and I think he's ready for some food. What you think, buddy? You hungry? So we're going to take care of Wally and maybe unload a couple of things. Until next time, folks, keep your project alive, drive the dream. We'll see you in the next one.